Fashion is now considered art, however, that was not always the case. In fact, the people who dominated the realm of art criticism in the past hated fashion and thought of it as frivolous. These monarchs of aesthetic and artistic critique were actually philosophers. Philosophers were obsessed with intellect and permanence, and to them, according to fashion theorist Tanay Iwanu, fashion was shallow and impermanent.
Oh, those are so last season. What even made you think of them?
Kant actually believed that fashion was only for clout and social status, despite reports of him being a rather fashionable man himself. Another reason that made art incompatible to the likes of art analysis was due to the fact that it was inherently attached to the body, which itself was attached to ideas of deception and contingency. And this is because the church had demonized the body, especially the female body. This made it so that the main realm of clothes was to cover and hide the body of sin and desire. However, eventually, these ideologies started phasing out, and somewhere in the 20th century, fashion ended up hyper-focusing on beauty. And this was done through disseminating ideas of what a beautiful body should look like and be through clean tailoring and specific proportion. This hyper-focus on beauty ended up creating an amazing counterculture where instead of focusing on what beauty should properly look like, designers began using clothes as a philosophical ground for analyzing and challenging concepts. Not just in fashion, but concepts challenging society as a whole. And according to Danai, this is really where you start to see the strong application of aesthetic analysis and art critique on fashion and clothes. This is where you get the Rei Kawakubus of the world who challenge concepts of beauty and ask what aesthetic pleasure looks like outside of the realm of standardized beauty. Or the McQueens of the world who took dark and complex concepts and turned them into aesthetically pleasing experiences that made people feel something. So by this point I'm yapping, and the point of this video is basically to tell you that while fashion is now majorly considered art, fashion was rarely attached to art until the 20th century, and now we are seeing philosophical methods of aesthetic critique be implemented into fashion analysis and criticism. And that is because fashion is focusing more on fashion as concept as opposed to just beautiful clothes that covers the body. Anyways, thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk on fashion, aesthetics, and art. I hope you learned something today.